as you see AI evolve, every company is talking about it, right? And so,
Yeah.
because we are a tech e-commerce group, we knew that we needed to develop something in-house that would allow us to stay true to our core. And so the proprietary AI that we have, the tools in Taurus and Altair, they're tools to allow us to audit what are the best performing creatives out there in our industry and similar adjacent industries as well. And how can we take those learnings and adapt it to the creatives that we generate? We have a huge creative team in house where we're constantly hiring creators who, adhere to our brand positioning and our guidelines, and we're creating new scripts that we develop that on our own to ensure that we're truly speaking to the pain point of our customer and then identifying the selling points of the product itself.
Welcome to the Brand Brief podcast, where we discuss the latest trends and key strategies that are driving brand growth. This podcast is powered by Brand Method Media Group, and I'm your host, Kelly Kelly. Today's guest is Gabrielle Richards, Brand Director of Trafilea, a tech e-commerce group that has built an ecosystem of empowering brands, including Shapermint, Truekind, The Spa Doctor, and many more. Welcome to the show, Gabrielle.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here with
Now, to set context, I would love to start with the role of brand director. I think, especially in marketing, titles can be so fluid depending on the company. So, for the audience, I want to set context and maybe kick it off by sharing your day to day and what are some of your main responsibilities.
Sure, that's a great question. So I am happy within my role as brand director because I'm able to oversee our brand positioning across many channels. So I like to explain to people anything that's front facing, whether you see on social media, on our website, in retail stores and print materials, the brand team and myself has had a hand in that. So my day to day consists of overseeing our non-paid channels, specifically social media, influencer marketing, which is multifaceted in itself, our brand ambassador program, our design and creatives team, our SEO and affiliate strategy, were brand guidelines, which is really important and necessary, especially when you're working cross collaboratively with other teams, such as retention, acquisition, wholesale. We really set the tone and the heartbeat of the business and the brand. And my role in particular is to make sure that we're enforcing those guidelines, we're protecting the brand voice. I forgot to mention PR. That's a huge component of
Yeah.
my day-to-day responsibility working with our PR teams globally. So in our US market, Canadian market, and UK.
Yeah, I think, just pointing out something I think people overlook, those guidelines are crucial. I think it can get glossed over because it's like, oh, here's like a random PNG of our look. No, colors. We need very specific font placement, like all of that really, really matters when you are trying to build a very strong brand.
Exactly. And a fun fact about Trafilea is the majority of the company is remote. So we're in several different countries, I think over 30 countries, and my team is not all based in the United States. So having guidelines that are constantly evolving, right, as the business grows and making sure that we're making those changes and sharing with the other teams to ensure that the review process is shortened because if we're truly following the guidelines the way we should be, it will create the consistency that we're looking for across many channels.
I love that. On my end, on our end as an agency, the guidelines are, we love that. We love when a client has them because it just, like you said, it shortens everything. It makes it so much
Mhm.
easier. And we are ensuring that we are, whatever our role is with the company, that it's going to be consistent. That's very important to us.
Yes.
So I want to just jump right in and, obviously we do research on our guests and first of all, your resume is incredible. Also, some of the highlights we saw that are happening with Shapermint are extremely impressive. The brand has grown from 0 to 300 million and 6+ million customers in less than 2 years. I think one of the other things that stood out about this was that the brand, you're doing all of this while also transforming the shaper conversation from shame to confidence, right? What do you think were the key factors from a marketing lens that contributed to the success, and what role has that authentic messaging played in this growth?
Great question. And so I'll love to say that actually we're now at 12 million customers, which
Wow.
is insane. Yes, we've had tremendous growth and we're approaching our seventh year anniversary for Shapermint. I've been with the brand for a little over 4 years. And when I was brought in, I helped with the brand positioning and kind of like the resurgence of who we are really as a company. And I would say what has helped our success is that we have a very customer centric approach. We're really tapping into true pain points of our customers, specifically within that shapewear and body confidence narrative. A lot of folks may say, okay, well, how can you promote body confidence and positivity and also retail shapewear garments as opposed to alter a woman's body? And what makes Shapermint so unique is that we have comfortable shaping essentials. So product that you truly want to wear every single day and not just for a specific occasion, which is kind of how we grew up thinking of shapewear, right? If you have a wedding or anniversary party, or you have a important job interview and you want to look a little bit more snatched, you would normally tend to wear shapewear. Well, in this case, we're saying, okay, why can't you have best of both worlds? A product that's going to work for you and then also be comfortable. And so, because of the product in itself and the positioning that we have, and really talking to our core audience, it has helped with that growth. But then on the marketing side, I think we have a very strong 360 marketing strategy where we're not only promoting particular styles due to seasonality or climate change or certain occasions, but we're saying, okay, here are real women just like you wearing our products, and you'll see that in our ads, you'll see that on our website and our print materials. One of our very first or big campaigns where we had Step Into Self Love, we actually hired real women as our models. And we made the stance back then, this is over 4 years ago, that we would not Photoshop or alter the body because we want you to see what you're really going to get. And we say, okay, cellulite and dimples, wrinkles, and all those things that you would deem as not a beauty standard or a good beauty standard. We said, no, this is what real women look like. And we're going to celebrate that, which is why our tagline is celebrate your shape, wear confidence.
Wow. Which this is a great segue into my next question because I want to get into the tech of it all. Trafilea manages, over 80 million in yearly ad investment through proprietary AI tech that allows you all to create ads automatically, right? How do you balance this tech-driven approach with maintaining authentic brand storytelling and emotional connection? Because everybody wants to be doing this, but I don't think everyone is doing it the right way.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. As you see AI evolve, every company is talking about it, right? And so,
Yeah.
because we are a tech e-commerce group, we knew that we needed to develop something in-house that would allow us to stay true to our core. And so the proprietary AI that we have, the tools in Taurus and Altair, they're tools to allow us to audit what are the best performing creatives out there in our industry and similar adjacent industries as well. And how can we take those learnings and adapt it to the creatives that we generate? We have a huge creative team in-house where we're constantly hiring creators who, adhere to our brand positioning and our guidelines, and we're creating new scripts that we develop that on our own to ensure that we're truly speaking to the pain point of our customer and then identifying the selling points of the product itself. And so I would be lying if I said it was easy what we do. It is very intricate, complex. We've been developing this, for quite some time, and we're constantly making new learnings and new improvements with this. But in the beginning of this interview, we discussed guidelines, right? So you're asking, how can you have these tools and still make sure that you're being authentic? Well, the guidelines at the end of the day, we're training our tools to ensure that we're upholding the level, the quality that we want as a business, and then also auditing our own creatives, right? Week over week, and having cross collaborative input from other teams.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point because I feel like these tools are coming onto the market and it's almost like shiny object syndrome, and companies are getting really excited because it's, positioned in a way to help you scale your ads. Okay, great. But have you created a solid brand foundation to feed it the information? Or are you going to get it because it'll spit out anything you want? You can ask it something, you can input very vague requests or whatever prompts into these things, and it will spit out information or creative that you want. But if it doesn't align with your brand, to your point, there's going to be a disconnect. So you all are
Absolutely. And
still,
the metrics will tell you that, right? If it's
yep.
bad creative, it's bad creative. It's not going to perform. So yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, you can't just set these things like, oh, well, we've invested in this tool, so it should be a super easy plug and play from now on. We don't need to look at it again. We don't need to monitor. We don't need to audit. We just got to keep running this thing. And it's like, no, you still got to have some oversight if you want a quality output consistently over time.
Exactly.
So you are a very, very multifaceted professional, which I think is incredible. With your background in on-camera as on-camera talent, how do you apply these skills to create more impactful brand experiences, especially as we are, everything is so much more digital first world. How do you meld something that obviously comes very natural to you, is a great addition to your skill set? How do you merge these two together?
Another great question. So, yes, so I've had on air experience on QVC, BET, and I was really excited to kind of just be thrown into the whole QVC circuit, right? So, about 3 years ago, when Shapermint debuted on QVC, we had the opportunity to select our own brand spokesperson. And because I had experience already, going on camera, creating, content on social media, they're like, Gab, you can do it. So I did take some media training just to get out all of the fear, right? Because I think that's the biggest component, right? You're afraid. You're afraid to mess up. And one of my advisors, he's actually one of the co-founders here at Trafilea, he explained to me that at the end of the day, what's most important is how you connect with your audience, right?
Yeah.
So don't care about what you're wearing, what your hair looks like, makeup, all those things don't matter. They're here to see you and to see what you have to tell them. And I'm like, that's great advice. So how do I do both? I think I have been given a gift of being a good storyteller. So when you've worked in marketing, specifically brand marketing for so many years, you're helping to craft that story around a product, right? And you learn like what's most important to that customer. Are you tapping into the main pain point that she's experiencing? How does this product help solve the issues in her life? How does it enhance it? So just me naturally learning, well, not naturally because it came with time, but just with my background and being able to copyright and help tell a story, when I go on air, it's the same thing, but you're just talking to your friend, right? So whenever I'm doing these on air opportunities, I'm pretending like I'm speaking to my girlfriend and I'm sharing with her like that cool new item that I found and how it's exciting. And then, I generally do love fashion too, Kelly. So I think that's another thing. I could spend hours in the mall, right? So that was my like true passion of shopping and fashion and storytelling, but then also too the fact that I am a licensed body confidence coach. I am able to ensure that a lot of our emotional touch points are being seen on the big screen, when I go on air.
So my mother used to call it building your toolkit. When I was younger, transitioning from college to adulthood, she would say, developing these skills, picking them up. At the time, it was like going way over my head, but it sounds like that's you. All of the things are coming together, your natural skill set, your natural talent, the job that you have to do, all of it is
Mm-hmm.
supporting the entire infrastructure. That's incredible.
That's a good point. One of my first internships, and I love to tell this story because it kind of like ages me a bit, was I was a wardrobe intern slash assistant at MTV for the last season of TRL. So,
Wow. Now, wait a
and
minute. Hold on.
yes. So when I say like I had to get down and dirty and just like
Yeah.
learn everything, right? In terms of
Hmm.
entertainment and styling. And in my particular role, I was actually styling men. And that's when I
Wow.
realized too early on, men have the same issues we have as women, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes they don't feel confident in certain colors, or they may think that, they look, like they have additional pounds on them on the screen. And so that was just like such a like awakening moment for me. And this was back in the day. So the fact that you brought up the toolkit, I'm like, yes, from my retail jobs and internships and styling my mom and siblings, it's like all those things have come together.
And listen, if you're aging yourself with that, we might be on the same accord. If that's what you were doing back then it wasn't a cushy thing. It wasn't all shopping and fun. If you were
No, ma'am.
interning doing wardrobe for MTV, I'm assuming in New York,
Yes, it was in
then
New York. Yep.
yeah, that was you had to earn your stripes. It was not, we
Yes.
did not have the hand holding, the
No.
boundaries. You had to really, really put in your work. That's incredible.
Yes, thank you.
So let's talk measurement. Because I think this is, one of the burning questions in this
Mm-hmm.
industry. How do you measure the ROI of brand building activities versus direct response performance marketing? And what
Mm-hmm.
metrics specifically have you found most reliable for providing, brand investments that drive long-term value versus rather like term conversions?
Yeah, another great question because it's one of those things of with brand marketing, I feel like you're always trying to prove your budget, right?
Yes.
Because it's definitely one of those departments that's thin, right? So on my end, quarterly, we measure our brand sentiment, our aided and non-aided brand awareness. How do we measure up against our competitors? We do a survey every quarter to understand how our own customers as well as non-customers view and experience the brand, right? So we measure that quarter over quarter, year over year. On a weekly basis, in terms of our KPIs that we're measuring. So I have a batch of revenue goals for sure in terms of non-branded keywords, branded keywords, affiliate revenue, influencer revenue, revenue coming in from our brand ambassador activity, revenue coming in from our blog site. And then in regards to more granular KPIs, we're looking at the CPMs of certain influencer that we're hiring. How is that measuring up? How is that impacting our overall performance as a brand department? We're also looking at certain activities that we do. What was the spike of website traffic? We often go on air on television, Good Morning America, The View, QVC. Those have a positive impact on our overall performance as a brand. And how does that too impact other teams' performance, right? That we're working with. So, we launch a 360 campaign. We're looking at our KPIs across multiple channels, acquisition, retention, our brand marketing team. So we live for our KPIs and OKRs in this business, in this company. And so everything that we do, we're making sure that we're measuring it on a daily basis. And I will say that we've built a really good process in place to ensure that we're consistently growing 30% year over year.
So you've helped from your work with Trafilea and obviously your personal mission, you've helped transform an entire industry by changing how women view shapewear and body confidence. What lessons from this cultural shift can other brands apply when trying to challenge established category perceptions, even if it's not within the same one, but just trying to go up against any sort of preconceived notions?
Sure. So what I would say is that the everything is constantly evolving, right? When I started, the conversation was around body positivity. You'll hear now that that's a phrase people don't even use. Body positivity transformed into body neutrality. Then it transformed into body confidence. And so, brand that first started off promoting body positivity, saying, yeah, you're great within the skin you're in, has now shifted to promoting body confidence, saying you're great at any stage in your confidence journey. And that was an important shift for us because if you're going to align your brand or product with a particular mission that is a global mission that's kind of like beyond you, you didn't just make it up. You have to be attentive to what is the conversation that you're seeing in the news, on social media. What are customers saying about this? Are you actively speaking to your customers to learn if they even care about the mission, right? And so that aha moment for us as a business recently was that our older customers are confident. They're like, listen, I'm good with how I am. I just want a product that works and makes my outfit look better. But then our younger customers aren't as confident, right? They're experiencing new stages of motherhood, or they're realizing that their bodies are changing very rapidly and they want those resources to really help empower them and make them feel better. So segmentation is really, really important. But then, understanding your customer, their needs, and then allowing them to have open dialogue back to you as a business to know if what you're doing is something that actually serves them, in a positive way.
Yeah, so you can't just dig your heels in, especially with a track record like you all's, and say, well, we've gotten this much great success with this type of mission. Like this is what we're sticking with. Being open to the feedback and the conversation, like you said, because
Yeah,
that's a powerful dynamic now, social conversation, like never before. So being open to it while also having a firm focus seems probably the way to go.
I agree.
So what's next for Trafilea? What do you guys have launching on the horizon? Anything you can share?
Sure. So I mentioned earlier in the next week or so, we'll be approaching Shapermint's seventh anniversary. So you'll see a lot of messaging along the lines of how did we even get here? We've been in business for this long, and we really couldn't have done it with our community of 12 million, people who are here to help, shape the narrative of body confidence as well as wearing our comfortable shape and essentials. That's been really important. Next week, we're going to have a company wide retreat where we're going to bring in some of the leaders from our team to be able to connect, bond, share wins, share new learnings. And I'm really excited about this because majority of us are remote, so we'll be able to meet a lot of each other in person. Some people I've worked with for maybe the last 2 years I've never seen face to face. So we love to have these types of retreats and activations to really get to create a more intimate connection with our team members. But there's so much more in store. We recently launched in Walmart. We do foresee more wholesale expansion on the horizon for us. I can't quite spill the beans yet on that, but you're going to be seeing more of Shapermint in the upcoming months. And then our other brands are expanding as well. We have a chief problem solver for Truekind. Her name is
What?
Janae Sena, and you've probably seen her on television as well. She is the bra expert. She literally wrote a book about bras.
Okay, we
Uh,
need one of those because it gets tricky.
yes, it's like shopping for a bra is like probably the biggest pain point that women can experience. And it starts at such a young age, right? And so Janae, she's just so exceptional. So we're really excited to have her with on our team. And then you'll see some really exciting things from our beauty division. So we have the Spa Doctor, our brand of nutraceutical skincare products and supplements. And the BodCon, we continue to have this community to help empower, men and women. If men want to, tune into the conversation, we don't shy them away. So just I say follow our socials so you can stay tuned of all of the exciting things that are on the horizon.
That sounds incredible. So that's going to wrap today's show. Thank you to our incredible guest, Gabrielle Richards, brand director of Trafilea. We'll have contact information for the different brands that we've discussed today for anyone interested in supporting them. Lots of great stuff there. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks.